Whether you are on an adventure or at the downtown cafe, your answers are no more than a sniff away. Dog Training 360's purpose is simple: to teach you why dogs do what they do, as well as the action steps you need to take to have better communication, connection, consistency, and conceivability with your dog. We are heading, or kind of right in the beginnings of this COVID-19 virus that's happening in the world, and I feel like it's kind of a scary time to be in right now because of the unknown. Mm-hmm. The communication is not great as far as from people communicating to each other that they have it, mm-hmm. but also, the media is pretty scary to listen to and to watch right now. And really, for me, I put my focus, we're somewhat all quarantined, advisory type quarantine of, mm-hmm. Safe social distances and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And, but animals still need direction. People are still at this time is needing direction from a trainer. Mm-hmm. And things have not slowed down for me. In fact, they've increased in my consultations because people are home, mm-hmm. and realizing that, now what do we do? Because normally we have an 8 or 12-hour day at work, mm-hmm. and now we're at home. Mm-hmm. We have to work at home remotely, for, a fair amount of people. And they don't really realize how disruptive their dog actually can be or is, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. or the demands of their dog when this is such a new thing. Mm-hmm. I for sure have been home more in some ways as well. Mm-hmm. And it's definitely different for the dogs. It's a little bit of a different routine. And even Chris is home. Mm-hmm. He's several of his trips have been canceled, and he's home. And then same with you, Shannon. Mike is home, working from home as well. Right. And so it's a kind of a scary feel because nobody knows what to do. But today we're going to talk about being home with your dog and the change of routine and a change of a lifestyle a little bit. Because I think one thing that's, there's two really significant things for the dogs that have changed. One is that we're home. Right. We're home. Mm-hmm. We are home. It's not coming and going as much.
Well, and I think when we're home, usually it's the weekend. Yeah. And so the dogs really know, when you go to work, we do this schedule. Yeah. And when you're home, we do this schedule. Yep. And so then it's kind of confusing to them because they're like, but you're home, and when you're usually home, we do this stuff. Yes. Yeah. Right. And so they know what the when you're home schedule is. Yeah. Yes, and that's part of why it's hard, because their expectation is, we're going to go and do this. And you're like, no, actually, sorry, dog, I'm working. Yeah. So you have to create a new I'm home routine for the dog to follow, so they know what's going on.
Yep. And they're feeling that insecurity, if you will.
Sure. Anxiety, because everybody's really anxious watching the news. What's going to happen? Yep. Is our job going to close? Right. And so then they're like, we don't know why you're being so weird. Yeah. And then they can start
for sure.
not knowing how to handle it.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the second thing too that I found really fascinating with mine, Chris and I usually don't eat home. It's a new goal of mine this year, was to cook more and stay home more mm-hmm. for meals. And it's kind of a good thing for us because it's forced us to eat at home. Mm-hmm. And not that the restaurants aren't open, but I just don't want to, I'm not going to go have somebody cook my meal that I don't know. Right. And so we've been eating at home more. Mm-hmm. And so there's a lot more value and just weirdness in our schedule at home. Mm-hmm. And so it's just an overall strange feeling, a little bit into survival, mm-hmm. if you will. You almost don't want to go out. Mm-hmm. even just go out for a walk. You know, the streets are empty. The feel is definitely different. When I was working all the dogs at the house yesterday and walking the neighborhood, it definitely had a way different feel of survival. And the dogs were definitely different with it. And I just trying to be like, oh, we're just going out for a walk and enjoying the sun and, you know, trying to keep things as normal as possible. So I think it's okay to be honest with the dogs and go, yeah, we're kind of all in survival mode right now. You know, the crew that I have at my house, you know, if somebody gets sick, if one of their owners gets sick, I mean, they're going to be there for the long haul with me. Right. You know, because I'm not taking them home. Right. And everybody's kind of kept me up to date on kind of where they're at. But I have one client that headed to Seattle, and she, she's kind of in the guts of it and a little bit concerned. So there's definitely, I think it's okay to be honest with your dogs, but I think now is the time to, you know, kind of change around the schedule right now. Like, we're in survival mode, and here's what the routines are. You're still going to sleep during the day, and you're still going to get fed. One thing that I started doing with mine is changing up their food a little bit and giving them a little bit more table scraps than I normally would, because if we can't, you know, if things really start shutting down and I can't get dog food,
they have to eat.
I need some, you know, I need my dogs to at least be okay to eat. Whatever we eat. I mean, that's kind of where I'm thinking with them. Because it definitely, you know, it may not, but I'm preparing them. Their schedule is a little bit different. There's been leashes on the dogs a whole lot. Yesterday, everybody was back tied, and I sat and worked and got some information out to clients that I needed to get out. And so just not letting them be as active and kind of putting them in a little bit of survival mode as well. What are some of the different things that you've done around here, Shannon, that, you know, that's kind of changed a little bit, or some of the things that you've noticed even?
So we follow, I've been following this same schedule in the morning. Like, we've still been getting up at the same time and having the same morning routine as we always do. My schedule has been pretty much the same because it's weird all the time anyway. Sometimes I'm here, sometimes I'm not. But Mike has been home. One thing that he's been doing when he's at work normally, he always goes for a walk at lunch. So when he goes for a walk at lunch, he's been taking all the dogs for a walk at lunch. So they're resting on their bed until lunchtime. Then he takes them for a walk, and then we come back and we settle back down again. So it breaks up the day for them. I mean, that's pretty similar to our normal schedule, which is usually I let them out to play at lunchtime. So it's just a little variation of what we normally do. But we're trying to keep like the same morning and evening routines the same for them, so that is consistent.
Yeah, I think it's important to, you know, crate time would still be crate time. You may not have to do the full 8 hours or, you know, 6 hours or whatever that crate time is. But you also have to remember that if you're the person that has a dog walker that you've hired, and they may not be working. I mean, some people are really like isolating themselves. You and I are still, we're leaving it up to our clients. And so we're still working dogs. We kind of have just kind of a safety protocol of, you know, them bringing them out to the vehicle and that kind of thing. But if you normally have a hiker and that hiker's not hiking, you need to remember that dog, you may have some behavioral problems because the routine
is different.
So get them out or do something different. And I think it's good for us human beings psychologically to get out and go for a walk and just be okay about being out.
Take a breath from away from the news. You know, and just go out and have a little quiet time.
And I think it's really, even yesterday, there was quite a few people out walking when I was walking, but in a really eerie way, like everybody's trying to stay isolated and trying to be out. And for me, I really like decided if I see somebody, I'm going to smile and I'm going to wave at them. And it kind of helped with the dogs too. Like they're like, oh, okay, things are still kind of normal, you know, and that we're still friendly instead of this very closed in feel that was happening.
Right.
And I even saw a difference in their dog when they were like, oh, hi, you know, have a great walk or enjoy the day or, you know. So I've really been trying to, you know, keep things the same, but when they're used to doing something that you have somebody else do, you really it's a big change. It's a big change, and you should help your dogs by doing. You don't have to go hiking.
No, I mean you could hide, like you could do your kennel time in the morning, right? And while they're in the kennel, hide like little treats all around your house or something. Yep. And so then when you let them out, then they can like go and hunt for the treats, you know, and then that stimulates their brain, and it's an activity where you don't necessarily have to go outside if you're working from home, you know, then you can't really like leave and go do things, right? But your dog can have an activity while you're working, you know, and then maybe when you're home, quote, home from work, when your work ends, then you can do an outdoor thing or something. Right,
for sure. And I think that the other thing that we have to remember also is there are 2 known cases of the dogs getting COVID-19 from the humans, and dogs are not immune to it. There's not a vaccination for the dogs either. And so, you know, continuing the social isolation is very important because sometimes people don't even know that they have it.
Right.
And then if you're going to the dog park, then you potentially could be contaminating others, but also your dog could be because
in danger.
We don't know right now.
Right.
The other thing that I found fascinating yesterday, Chris and his daughter and boyfriend headed up to some hot springs, and they were thinking, you know, it's Monday, it's late afternoon, there's probably not going to be, you know, a lot of people out, and there were a ton of people and a ton of dogs. Really? Like over 50 people in these hot springs. And, you know, it really didn't, for them, it was like, this, you know, we don't know. We don't know when and who we've been
in contact
with. Yeah. Just in general.
Sure. Because, I mean, a lot of people have still gone to get groceries, or if you have a job that you're still going to work, like many people that work at stores are still going to work. There are a lot of jobs that you cannot do online, that those people are still having to go to work. And so, I mean, you're still in contact with people if you're going places where people are, you know, so.
Yeah. So just, again, it's the same with your dogs, is practice that social distancing with your dogs. You're just find other things to do. And so to wrap this up, one of the important things that you and I decided to do for people was to give away our free
online,
not our free, give away our online dog
give it away
training
for free,
for free, online dog training course to help people find things to do, follow the courses that we have in there. It's a lot of fun. It's very interactive. We'll be on doing some webinars on there, and you know, just really having a great time with it and helping people feel like there's still something to do with your dog.
Yeah, because what a perfect time to train.
I know.
You have to be home with your dog, and I think a lot of times people just say, oh, if I only had time to do that, not just about training their dog, but about everything, right? So now if you have a thing that you thought, oh, if I just had time, I would work with my dog on that, or I could train my dog to do this, like now's the time, because you're home and your dog is home, and you might not have any other things to do. I know a lot of artists and people that are in performance don't have anything else to do right now. So what a great time to bond with your dog and like get some of the work done that you've been like wanting to do but felt like you didn't have time.
And that's important for us to help everybody feel like we're giving you stuff to do for free. And it is the same course and the same things that I do in my lessons. You just don't get the interactive like critiquing, I guess, you know. But
if you have questions or you want to critique, you can go on our forum. You could videotape yourself doing, you know, whatever and send it to us, and we'll critique your video, or, you know, so that we're lucky we have technology
for sure
that we can do that.
Kind of a great time right now to have that. And you can't just go on. It's not just free if you pull it up. You have to have the correct link, coupon to do it. And so if you're on social media, you can get the link in my bio on dog_training_360 on Instagram and dog training 360 on Facebook. It's in the links in the posts as well as in my bio, to get the link to go on and sign up for free. There's only 200 spots and they are filling up fairly fast.
Really fast. So, yeah.
Get on there, get training, and it's a great way to keep social distance and accomplish a lot.
Yeah.